Now, fire, pain, affliction, renewal, transformation, removal of what is not pure to present something new. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you, ladies and gentlemen, today. Hometown health improvement and what you accomplish across the state of Arkansas. So, what you men and women do on a daily basis to, as your website describes, as creating a gateway to improved health for men, women, and children in all of our counties in the state of Arkansas is a effort, it is a work that is not just about addressing people's smoking habits or getting them active on a daily basis or eating better or access to better foods, nutrition. It's about that, but it's more than that. The fact that it says you're providing a gateway to what? Because part of that, how my body feels and what I put into my body, and then how my body is going to move in space and in time from one moment to one day to one week to multiple years. Ultimately, this is about a quality of life that is described as human flourishing. That you, as a body of individuals from all across the state of Arkansas, while you individually have your roles and responsibilities of instruction and health and management and record keeping and so on and so forth, those things that you do on a computer or you're going out talking to individuals, while you're doing that individually, collectively together, these unique activities, skills that you're doing on a daily basis, that you're bringing them together in such a way that not only is a mom or a dad or a child flourishing, but a household is flourishing, and then by extension, a community is flourishing. It is improving. But even in that word improving, it necessitates, it implies that something has to be removed. Something has to be burned away. There are impurities that have to be removed so that there is a renewal, that there is a transformation. And that's what each of you are individually involved in, but then also as a body are involved in as well. And so the question becomes this, is one of those big questions. Why am I here? Now, I'm not talking about why am I here in Arkansas in this department, Hometown Improvement. I'm asking, why are you here?
Because I love what I do.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think anybody else can do it as good as me, and I don't.
Ooh, God, girl, thank you. I should just go and sit down right now. All right. What is your name? Tommy, I'm going to be coming back to you. All right. In that question, why am I here? At the center of that question, there's the why, there's the am, there's the I, here, question mark. The I, the subject, Tommy, sits at the center of the question. You are the subject of the question. Why? What is my intent? What is my purpose? What is my telos? Where am I focused on? Where am I headed? Am, that's action. It's a verb. Here, okay, I got it. Hometown improvement. Where are you located at?
Arkadelphia.
Arkadelphia. For what purpose is Tommy there? And while Tommy is there, what is our eyes fixed on? And it's not just about the daily activity. That's fine. But the daily activity is taking Tommy somewhere. As human beings, we move to what we see or hear. And so every action that Tommy should be taking in Arkadelphia should move her to answering that very large question of why am I here? And if you are like, oh my gosh, why do I keep coming back to this place? Then I would challenge you and ask you the first question when you log into your computer, why am I here? Don't say for the money. State agencies, right? Don't even say for the boss or for the person next to you. But answer the question, work to answer the question, why am I here? What is it my eyes are focused on? Why is this important? Why is the improvement of health outcomes for the Arkadelphian community important to Tommy? But then Tommy has to look to, you have a peer here? Who? All of them. But in Arkadelphia. Pam. Can Tommy sit with Pam and ask, Pam, why are you here? What I'm moving towards is this, ladies and gentlemen, that there are very specific goals that you have. That each one of you have to answer the question of, why am I here? And the here I'm talking about is on this earth. Because if I removed you from this job, would your eyes still be fixed on the improvement of health of somebody or some community wherever you are at? It's not about this state agency. It is about the people and what they are going through and the maladies that they are facing. And dare I say, before you move there, asking yourself, how is it that I need to improve? So, Lion King, the animated version, not the live action version. Simba, young cub, heir to the throne, experiences failure. He is falsely blamed for the death of his father, Mufasa, correct? Who has not seen Lion King? Okay, all right. In the development of the movie, you see Simba run away from what he believes to be failure. He is running away from actually what he needs in order to become who it is he is destined to become. Ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate success a lot, right? I got a promotion. I got a pay raise, right? we instituted this program and X amount of people came through and we're meeting our goals and outcomes so that we can get more funding or distribute, more funding, correct? We're like, woo, let's celebrate that, right? Even today, right now, it's a celebration, correct? Right? That's cool and all. But what if what actually moves you to be a better person, your better self, is Tommy. Come here. No, come here. Told you you're gonna be my friend. Is I am all happy about success. That's cool and all. But who I want to walk with is my failures. I want to walk with when I fall on my face. I want to walk with the times when I put together that program and we spent a month or 6 months getting it together and like one person showed up and I'm like, dang it, I am just not effective at this job. Maybe I just don't need to be at this job. But my eye is fixed on answering that question, why am I here? And so it would be all great and dandy if 1,000 people showed up to my program, or we got awarded that grant, or we did whatever in relationship to our specific community that we're working with. But what if what I really needed, if you will, was to be punched in the face for a whole year, wondering maybe I'm not supposed to be at this job? And so Tommy is looking at me.
Yeah. You got to get a new attitude.
And so failure is speaking to me. Failure provides me the opportunity to look at myself and to ask myself, who am I in this role? Who am I in relationship to Pam over there? What changes do I need to make within myself, or what changes in my responses do I need to make so that the next time I do A or B, Lori, come on, Lori. You can go sit down. All right? Lori, my success, after years and years of waiting, months and months of waiting, trying to put on that program time and time again, all of a sudden Lori shows up and we're about to have a party. Yes. But I look at Lori and I say, Lori, really who I really need to thank, who I really have a great dear love for is Tommy.
I do.
Because without Tommy, without failure, I never would have met Lori. For the illustration. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, far often we want to run away from failure. When the fact of the matter is, if we looked at failure like we looked at fire, we would understand while it is painful, while it is something to be feared, it can also be something that can be respected. And if we just change our perspective on how we looked at failure, and we looked at failure like the way we look at fire as something that can remove the difficulties, remove the impurities, and also understand that, you know what? On the other side of this, something beautiful, something meaningful can be produced. And so, I love Lori, but also need to love Tommy. Because without Tommy, and seeing Tommy time and time and time again, I would not arrive at the opportunity of seeing my best future self and having my best future time with someone like Lori. Now, that has application in the workplace. And if I come closer to home, there's application even in your own personal lives. Because as Simba grows up and gets older, he runs into Rafiki. You know, the famous scene, he hits him over the head. Like, why'd you do that? It doesn't matter. It's in the past. He tries to hit him again and he ducks, right? He learns from the situation. He learns that he has to continue to move forward, but that he also has to face the failures. And in facing those failures, he becomes king. Now, individually, you go through that process. But then collectively, as a group, in what you do in your specific situations, all right, I would encourage you because there is a uniqueness, there is a panorama of experiences in this room. How many cities are represented in here? So, just different cities, counties. The experiences that are brought to the table are varied, they are unique. Pay attention to those. Learn from those. But then also understand this, that what happens in Arkadelphia, right? The southwest. Anybody from the southeast? All right. It's radically different in terms of population, in terms of the demographics of that population, in terms of the resources that are there. And so, valuing in this body, in this group, the experiences, the successes, and the failures that are brought from the Southwest, and they're brought from the Southeast, from the Northeast, and from Northwest, Central Arkansas, and the like. My next encouragement to you is this, and I beat this drum. How many supervisory, anybody here supervisor type? Yes, raise your hand high. Yeah, raise your hand. Yeah. You want the title, like, put your hand up, right? For you, I would say this. For the men and women that you supervise, that you lead, you have the unique opportunities to come alongside those men and women, sitting with them and challenging them on a consistent basis. Again, why are you here? Working with them so that they can continually reflect on what is it that I'm seeking to accomplish here? What is my purpose in this larger body of individuals that I'm working along? It is your responsibility as well is to remember this. That, as I started with Tommy, she is at the center of the question of why am I here? And supervisors, those whom you supervise, they are not objects. Do you care, anybody? Did I throw that pen? Does it really bother you? Did it really? Huh? Now, if... Actually, you know what? Hold on a second. Sir? What's your name?
Taylor.
Taylor. Now, How much you weigh, Taylor?
My driver's license says 180.
180? Okay. So if I picked Taylor up and threw him, like I could, he's 180. I can pick you up. All right.
We believe you.
All right.
Yeah, don't try.
No, I'm not. No, no. Would you be disturbed? Why? Who said that? Yes. Because Taylor is a person. So think about that. If it disturbs you, if I picked Taylor up and threw him, all right, about the same distance as that pin, all right, think about then how we treat one another in the workplace. If it disturbs you, if I were to physically throw him, all right, then pay attention to how you speak to those you work alongside. Pay attention to those that you supervise on a daily basis. How are you evaluating them? Are you evaluating them as human beings, as persons, or are you evaluating them simply as a cog in the machine in order to accomplish some goals and objectives? There is a difference. When any of your peers are just simply saying, I just don't know if I can do this today. Well, gosh dang it, you just need to suck it up and drive on. Am I approaching him or her as a subject or an object? And the reason and the way you can answer that question is this. If you were the one that was saying, I just don't know if I can make it, would you take, you just need to suck it up and drive on? Probably not.
That's
No.
no, probably. She would.
She would, right.
I would handle it
How we interact with one another can fundamentally influence how our departments execute their programs, but then also how we project who we're going to be in these communities that you are claiming that your vision is to provide a gateway toward better, healthy living. But that implies that you're talking about people, not objects. You're not, we don't associate healthy living with a pen. We associate healthy living with persons. And so if we're advocating for healthy physical health, mental health for persons in these communities, then gosh darn it, you have to advocate for that in your workplace. No? It has to translate. So imagine how much more powerful you will be in 2024, right? That as you are advocating for healthy, fill in the blank, in your communities, that when you go back to the office, you're carrying that same energy to your peers that you're working with. And so maybe, I don't know how it works in state agencies, but you'd be like, you know what? We're just going to close the office for today. No. No. Or we're going to, do some type of recreational staff development day or something like that, right? I say all that to say that especially in the work that you do, similar to the work that I do, if we're going to advocate for improvements in the quality of life of individuals in communities, then it has to be reflected in the workplace as well, or we're being hypocrites. And then it is simply some job that you show up to punch a clock in, right? So, Thomas Edison in the older years of his life, he was at dinner and his factory was burning. Somebody had come in, disrupted the dinner, and they let him know that the factory is burning. And they went out to the factory, and as he stood and observed the fire was different in its appearance because of the number of chemicals that were in the warehouse of the factory. And the son was distraught, the family members were distraught, and he just stood there and looked at it. The next day, when somebody came and interviewed him about the burning, he realized that at the end of as he was getting toward the end of his life, that fire reminded him, here is another opportunity. It invigorated him. He saw the difficulty, the failure, if you will, as a transformation, as a renewal of his own life, even in his elder years. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that at some point, if you have not, you reflect on your own personal work and what you do here at the Arkansas Department of Health. Where has it been successful? Where have you fallen on your face, if you will? Where have you treated one of your peers as a pen and not a person? And ask yourself, what needs to be burned away so that as I go into 2024, I can be a better person? And so once you do that work with yourself, then do that work together in your individual offices. And then when you do that work in your offices, then go out into your communities and ask, where have we succeeded? Where have we failed? Allow the fire to burn so that as you move into 2024, there's the opportunity for transformation. There's the opportunity for renewal. There's the opportunity to even rekindle. Isn't that interesting? Rekindle some possible collaborations that have gone to the wayside. Because this entire work of working in the community, yes, it's even on your website, it's a social aspect, it's an economic aspect, it's a political aspect, it's a religious aspect. All of those matter. And so even going out into your communities, asking, again, yes, we've succeeded here, but where have we failed so that we can even open up our own doors to continue this march towards human flourishing? Fire is good. Failure is good. It can be your friend. And it can be a friend that can lead to a celebration. Celebration of yourself as you continue to answer that question, why am I here? But then also for you as your individual offices and your individual locations, but then as a statewide group, answer that question, why are we here? And hopefully you can look up and you can point and say, there's our vision, Gateways to Healthy Living, and each one of us are answering that question, and you know what? I feel happy to show up to work every day. And when you feel happy to show up to work every day, what that tells me is you got your eyes focused on what gives you purpose and what gives you meaning in life. And when an individual and a group has meaning in their activities, when your actions are connected to a meaning, you're unstoppable. Thank you very much. based here out of Conway. It's called City of Hope Outreach, and our main strategic initiatives is education, housing, and nutrition. So education, we have an after-school initiative called Coho Academy, serves students K through 12, and they come Monday through Friday after school. And we focus on personal development, arts, literacy, STEM, nutrition. And so they get one of those each day. And then in our housing, we have two big initiatives. One is our Hope Home for Men, and that's a transitional housing for homeless men. And men can stay there for a year and a half, sometimes 2 years, depending on their needs. And then we help them with employment, financial savings, community service, help them, if they got fines and fees that they got to pay to the court system, help them with that as well. And then our second big initiative is called Hope Village. And we're in the process of building 10 small homes, 5 one-bedroom, 5 two-bedroom small homes, 490 and 640 square feet. And that's going to provide housing for homeless individuals and families, veterans. We have an on-site case manager that'll be staying there, and so that'll be open spring of next year. So we've got all 10 up. We just got them all in the dry. 2 are complete, and we're just making our way through. And so we do that. And then in nutrition, we've got what's called the small market, where individuals can come and shop at a renovated food truck trailer, if you will. Everybody's given what's called market bucks. It's like Monopoly money, where they come and shop in there, and they want to earn more, then they can volunteer at the organization. And then we have urban gardening, so we have 2, one at our main location, and then another one next to the high school, and that provides free produce for people who need it, and also goes into our market, provides access. And then we, do outreach initiatives. So we have a Christmas store that we do that's happening in 2 weeks. We do a carnival, and then advocacy and stuff. And so fundamentally, just advocate for the human dignity of individuals. I fundamentally believe that regardless of your economic situation, your housing situation, everybody has something to bring to the table, like everybody. So even the homeless person who was out on the street with a sign, they got something to contribute as much as the wealthy guy has got something to contribute. And so everybody's got something to bring to the table in terms of the development of programming and services. And so, on our board committees, on our staff, you could have somebody that's educated and somebody who just came off the street. I mean, you're talking about community, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about community. That means everybody. Yes. Not somebody's, but everybody. So work hard at doing that for the last 17 years.
Do you guys have a housing first philosophy with that, or do they have to meet other requirements to get housing?
Yeah, I don't adopt the housing first model. I have concerns with that. I think once we have somebody who applies, for instance, our Hope Home, right? So for order for you to stay there, and this would be against the housing first model, you're going to have to work. It's required for you to work. You're just not going to just lay up here. Now, I'll give you 30 days to get settled, right? Because, there's rules and all that kind of stuff. But in order for the sustainability of the house and the people that are coming behind you, right, there's going to be some requirements for you to stay here. So those guys have to have employment. If they're not employed, they have to volunteer. They have to pay their fines and fees if they're coming from incarceration. And if they're dealing with any other type of issues, because for myself, all right, I think I need to have a full understanding of what is going on with you, but then also understanding there are other people who are housed with you, that they're working their particular program, if you will, and there needs to be some accountability in all of that. So it's a So I've never applied for any of those fundings where it says you have to do housing first. I just got to figure out another way to get it housed. And, everybody's got their reason as to why they do it. I just philosophically think that there needs to be a little bit more teeth in the game. But then also, it's important, and comes from a nonprofit kind of city perspective. You need to have a variety of housing options for individuals as well. Okay, I think it's important. The more variety that we've got, the better opportunity we have to serve individuals who have different backgrounds. Like here in Conway, we're about to open an emergency shelter, the first one, okay? Up to that point, all we've had is transitional housing. But all the transitional housing, all of us have requirements to stay there in their particular housing situation. So because of that, it does alienate, if you will, other individuals who need to be there. Like we don't have in the city like a housing situation for men or women who are substance abuse. Now there's one out in the county, but there's not one in the city. No one has just made that. But even to stay at the one out in the county, there's requirements for them. So from what I understand, I don't think there's one place that does a housing first approach, but all the other ones don't. But again, it comes down to, you got boards and people are big on how are we using this money and how are we going to protect our stewardship and stuff. And so that's a long answer to your question, but I like to provide detail.
Dr. Fletcher?
Ma'am.
I love when you talk about us knowing our why, because I feel like the teams that we work with here, we are all very synergistic on that, you know. But we work with individuals that may not be. In our communities, they may not have the same why that we do, that we've all come to have in our schools. So what do you recommend for those type things?
I think, so I'm going to answer it this way. So I teach at Philander Smith, and my incoming freshmen during the summer, I asked them why are they here, right? And the typical answer is, well, I'm going to be the first to go to college, or my parents wanted me to come. But I would ask them, but why are you here? You told me why other people want you here, but why are you here? I think it's important when, you're just in a neighborhood or somebody comes into your office, and you sit down and you have that in-depth conversation of digging deep as to why are you doing this particular activity, or why are you pursuing this particular resource, or why are you wanting this particular change. The further down deep we can get, I believe we can find more commonalities, right? I believe if we have those longer term conversations and understanding, because you work with people, right? Change don't happen overnight. Surely you just picked your job up the first day you went in there, huh? Right? It took a while. Right. So working in our communities, right? It takes a while because you are dealing with people. Taylor. Go on, lock arms with me. No, you can lock arms with me. Yeah. Taylor's wise going that way. Go that way. Like, go that. I'm going this way. Now, we could be going at this for like 6 months, a year, and then I'm like, you know what? Taylor, why are you going that way? Right?
You told me to.
Good question. Good answer. He's still new, right. But if I do the hard work, because think about this. I'm the one coming in your community. Taylor been living here. right? I parachute in like, hey, hometown health improvement, state of Arkansas, right? You're smoking, right? He's like, yeah, I've been smoking for decades, right? And I'm like, well, y'all do cessation? Yeah. Okay. Tobacco cessation. You're like, what? Why would I want to stop smoking? Now, for Taylor, there could be a host of reasons why he wants to smoke. Stress related, right? It's just what he's seen growing up as being normal in his household, right? But I got to get down to the bottom of why he's doing what he's doing so that I can get down back into the office with Rhonda. Y'all work together?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What?
She's in the north part of the state, and I'm in the south.
Oh,
part of the
okay.
state.
Well, let's just assume y'all in the same office,
Okay,
right? Yeah. So you and Rhonda get back together. And it's like, okay, we talked to Taylor, right? And this is why he's doing it, right?
Yep.
Now, either you answer the why on your own, or you be like, okay, let's get Taylor in, and we'll sit down together, and we'll come up with an answer to how do we address this particular issue. You can do it without him, or you can do it.
A lot, probably. As humans, we probably.
Yes. Or you can do the hard work of doing it with him. It's like marriage.
We'd rather
Right.
shit all over somebody.
You ready what?
We would rather shit all over somebody. You shouldn't do that. You should do this.
Ah,
We're gonna shit on you.
I like that. I haven't heard that. Because I thought you were saying something else. Man. That's what I was like. But you were saying it a different way. Yeah. All right. But I think it would be fruitful, especially when we talk in terms of collaboration, right? Collaboration then means I should lock arms with Taylor because this is his community, right? I may drive in every day, right? Or I may live there, right? Or I got promoted to move there, right? So I still need to understand it, right? And Taylor is going to understand it better than I am, right? And so there is a respect that's happening, all right? It is not if I dare say, a colonization that's happening. Do y'all understand what I mean? Right? Typically, that's reserved for history. But if we think about it, nonprofits can be that way too. We can come into an area and be like, we know what's best. And they're like, what? This is our life. Could you imagine somebody coming in your neighborhood and talking about, we know what's best? Right? Cut your grass this way. Put your Christmas lights. Who's a Christmas light? Who's a Christmas lady? Tommy, right? Right? You have too many Christmas lights. We know better. I'm sure you'd be like, right?
I'll put some more up.
I'll smoke some more cigarettes, right? But the question is, why? Why? And when we understand that why, then the better it is we can move forward together. What is hard? That's the other thing I'm going to say. It's hard work. And in a society in America that is, and then in your situation, that is really driven by outcomes and percentages and numbers and reports and the like, right? People ain't got time for that whole, like, long-term thing. But that's the reality on the ground. It is.
I always say you got to get